Good evening and welcome to Meeting International de Athlétisme de Marseille here in France. This is part of a series of meetings organised by the French Athletics Federation across the season. It's got a strong history of attracting great French athletes and some really good international talent as well. And we've got just that in store this evening as well. There's a look at the overall timetable. Men's discus getting underway very soon. And then we'll have the European bronze medalist Tom Barr up against World Championship finalist Joshua Abuaka, and the European indoor bronze medalist Carl Bengstrom. They all go in the men's 400-metre hurdles, our first track action. Then the women's 400-metre hurdles. The women's long jump features World Championship bronze medalist Alina Vrtoro-Kotman, World Indoor Championship silver medalist Monet Nichols, and the Diamond League winner in Shanghai, Mate Koala. So that's going to be very competitive as well. Men's 400 metres after that, a women's 800 metres, which features a few internationals, but a lot of French athletes as well. We're going to see that in the endurance events as they launch their bid to impress selectors ahead of their home Olympics. Just 71 days to go until the athletics get started over in Paris. On the second half of the schedule, around about 8 p.m. local time, we'll have a 3,000-metre steeplechase for men, including European champion Topi Raitanen. He's rounding into form. We'll have the world junior champion Samuel Daguna and the African champion Haile Mariam Emare as well. Women's 200 metres will come after that. Then a women's 1,500 metres. Men's 800 with the Algerian duo Mohamed Al Gouaned and Slimane Moula. And they'll face 1,500 metre specialist Isaac Nadar of Portugal. And Elliot Giles as well, who used to be an 800-metre specialist but now doubles up in the 1,500 for Great Britain. Then have a women's 400 metres as the penultimate track action, and then we'll finish with that 1,500-metre final at around about 9:20 local time. Lots of French domestic interest in that as well. My name's Hannah England. I hope you're enjoying the coverage on the European Athletics YouTube. So look at the windsock. We're expecting around about 15 miles per hour for the winds at this time in the evening in Marseille, which isn't insignificant, but it could be worse. And kilometres per hour, so that's better than the miles per hour I'd had a look at. And you can see blazing sunshine and 20 degrees Celsius right now. So that's all right. We usually have great conditions here in Marseille, and that's illustrated and reflected in the meeting records for this event. We'll touch on a few of them as we move through the programme, but some of them are just super quick. And that often draws quality athletes to an event over the years and just builds its reputation year on year. So you're here on the European Athletics YouTube for the Meeting International de Athlétisme de Marseille. You might want another screen up, because also tonight with European Athletics, you could have the Trond Mohn Games, where Carsten Warholm will open his season over 300-metre hurdles. There's also the Austrian Open in Eisenstadt, and the Kladno-Kladensky Memorial meeting, I think, is just about wrapping up. Alex has been commentating on that for European Athletics over the last few hours, Alex Seftel, so maybe you've been enjoying that already. Maybe he's signposted you here, who knows. You can see the crowd just filtering in here to the stadium in Marseille. This is a World Athletics Continental Tour silver event. I mentioned those 71 days to go until the Olympic Games. It's 16 days until the European Championships in Rome. And the qualification window for Rome actually closes on Sunday. So that will be a real focus for a number of our senior athletes in this competition. Here's a look at some of the juniors that have been in action earlier on this afternoon. He's getting a snack. I think that looks like a certain fast food chain. They are being caught on camera refueling with some fast food, but refueling is important. Doesn't really matter what it is. Thumbs up. So they have probably competed earlier on this afternoon, and then they're hanging around to watch the elites, if you like, the international section. To mention that qualification window closes on Sunday. We've got some 4 meetings covered by European Athletics this evening. And then on Saturday, there's a meeting Stanislas from Nancy in France, the True Athletics Classic in Leverkusen, and then on Sunday, the meeting is International de Forbach, another one in France. So plenty of opportunities in these last few days for the athletes to pick up qualification marks and ranking points that could get them over to global championships. Just getting the male discus throwers lined up. That's a Simon Pettersson fan, just making herself known and then getting a bit shy. I think I made out she said, "I love you, Simon Pettersson." Don't we all? There's the full list of the men's discus throw final, highlighted by Simon Pettersson, the silver medalist for Tokyo, the Olympic Games. We'll go through the full lineup. This is Juan Casido, I think, of Ecuador. We'll wait for the graphic to come up, just make sure everyone's turned up when they should have. That is Casido, season's best of 63 metres. Apologies, that's not who I think it is. We'll go with that. Filip Milanov of Belgium, a national record holder, 67.26 from a few years ago. Yeah, last year he threw 66.54. That was his furthest in 7 years. Couldn't quite make the final in Budapest, but in good form. This is Lucas Nervi of Chile, a South American under-20 record holder. This is his first competition over in Europe for this year. South American champion back in 2021. Stephen Richter of Germany. Germany has such a strong history in throwing, and this young man is one of their hopes for the future. He threw a shot put indoor personal best this year, which puts him in good stead after a good last couple of years. He's won the European Throwing Cup in the under-23 category for the last 2 years consecutively. Jordan Guihassem from France. He's the club record holder for the club that hosts this meeting here in Marseille. At 63.96, that was a 1 metre personal best 4 days ago in a meeting in Martinique. It's Alin Feferica of Romania, the in-form man, one of the furthest on season's best, 66 metres and 7 centimetres. Through that, winning the European Throwing Cup this year, and that was his furthest throw in 4 years, so rounding into form in Olympic year. Lola Saint-Juan will throw number 7, an 8-time champion in France. He came second in that meeting in Martinique. I mentioned Guihassem was in that. Juan threw further in that. This is the Jamaican athlete Travis Smickle, 67.83 this season. He's been throwing really well in Jamaica and then backed that up with the 4th place at the Marrakesh Diamond League over the weekend. He was 11th in Budapest last year. And the final athlete to be introduced to the crowd, we know he's got one fan out there at least, Simon Pettersson. 70 metres, 42 back in 2022. A wonderful silver medal behind his teammate Daniel Stroll in Tokyo. Pettersson, he's been throwing far distances in the years after that, but he's just struggled to put that together at a championships. He was second at the European Throws Cup back in March to Feferica. All these men will be very familiar with each other, but 9 athletes down there. Great, great conditions. The European lead, of course, Nicolas Alekner's new world record, 74.35. And the heavy throws were so dominated by Europe, by the Eastern European nations, and it's become a bit more international in the last couple of years. The men's discus still really ruled by the likes of Alekner and the Eastern Europeans. On the women's side, really international. Look at Yame Perez and her 73-metre throw, surprising everyone. Valerie Ullman looking in the driving seat as she continues to rack up those wins. Here on the men's side, a nice competitive field here in Marseille for you. Just to mark your cards, 65 metres and 20 centimetres is an automatic qualifying mark for Rome. 67.20 is an automatic qualifying mark for Paris. So over to our first track action. This is the men's 400-metre final. Seven athletes in this race, highlighted by Joshua Abuaka in lane 5. The German athlete made the World Championship final last year, finishing in 8th place there. Number 2 all-time on the German rankings. We've also got Thomas Barr, 4th place finisher from the Rio Olympics, a bronze medalist from the European Championships in 2018. He'll go in lane 2. And Carl Bengstrom as well has proved his form over the 400 metres flat indoors. Still very much a hurdle specialist. And starting on the outside, Julien Bonvin of Switzerland, the finalist at the European Championships in Munich in 2022. Best this season of 49.54. Moving over to lane 7, Anouar Borala of France, third at the European Under-20 Championships last year. Carl Bengström of Sweden goes in lane 6, very close to his personal best in his first hurdles race of the season, 48.61. National indoor record holder over 400 flat with his bronze medal behind Carsten Warholm and Julian Vatrin in Istanbul in the European Indoor Championships last year. Joshua Abuaku goes in lane 5. The German athlete recently came second at Savona in 49.26, and I mentioned that 8th place finish in Budapest. Let's move over to lane 4, Konstantin Preiss of Germany, 3-time national champion. Jordan Therese goes in lane 3, in third at the French Indoor Championships this year of the 400 flat. You do have to say flat because we did used to have a few 400 hurdles races indoors. Remember Felix Sanchez and Di Green having fun with that. Final athlete in lane 2 is Tom Barr of Ireland. He's the national record at 47.97 from that Rio final. And he actually just split 45.75 at the World Relays, helping the Irish mixed 4x4 qualify for Paris. And that would have been a personal best had he run that in an open race. So Tom Barr is in good form. The Irishman so plagued by Achilles injuries. So the men enjoying the tense music as they get ready to go into their blocks. Tom Barr in 2. Therese in 3, Preiss in 4, Abuaku in 5, Bengström in 6, Borala in 7 and Bonvin in lane 8. The men's 400 metre hurdles. And they are away okay, despite Thomas Barr being asked to put his fingers right behind the line. And he got off to a good start, the Irishman in lane 2. He's got everybody lined up outside of him as he attacks these 10 hurdles. Rough hurdle there from Therese, the Frenchman inside him. As we look towards the outside of the track, Bengström is having an absolute flyer, but he's taking Abuaku with him as well. Abuaku, the German athlete with the headband on. World Championship finalist going side by side with Bengström. And at the moment, the Swede just having to give way to the German, but they're going to go over this 8th hurdle together, the 9th hurdle, just one more hurdle left to go. It is Germany versus Sweden. Tom Barr trying to close hard from lane 2, but these two side by side. And Carl Bengström, he's shown good form in his first race of the season, and he's shown it here again. Meeting record 48.49, if that's confirmed. Well under the previous meeting record of 48.8 of Yasmani Copello. What a run from Bengström. Very, very nice running. It will be a small season's best and a small personal best by 300ths for Bengström. High fives all round and well under the European qualifying mark. And that is actually, I think, an Olympic qualifying mark as well for Carl Bengström. That mark is 48.7. So Abuaku, I think, ran a fantastic top bend here. Put the pressure on Bengström. They're side by side at that point as they come into the home straight, and Bengström just found something extra off the final hurdle. I think he took that final hurdle better than Abuaku and could build that momentum all the way to the finish line. It's a good fun field here for these men, very much what you might experience in perhaps a semi-final European Championships, that sort of thing. It's very good to get your experience in this kind of field. There we go. Confirmed results, Carl Bengström 48.49 I make that a new personal best. It's not come up on the graphics on the screen. But Joshua Abuaku, good start there with 48.9. And Julien Bonvin coming in third place. Just take a chance to catch up with the men's discus as they move through the first round. Got a very early lead with Filip Milanov, 62.57. Oh no, from Jordan Guihasiem. And whether that was an intentional foul or if he lost his balance when he was out of shot, I'm not sure. Guihasiem, club record holder, the local man. You can see, did he manage it? Not quite, and then he knew he was all off kilter. He walks out. So Alan Alexandru Fiferica up next. Skips across the circle. It's going to be over 60 metres, still chasing 62.57 of Milanov. That could be enough for second place though, second with Stephen Richter at the moment, 60 metres 25. Fiferica, 60 metres 51, so that is enough for second place at the moment. Lola Saint-Juan up next. Did represent France at the Tokyo Olympics. Going to be around about 55, 56 metres or so for his first throw. $55.90 for Juan. Puts him up in sixth place at the moment. Next into the circle, Travis Smickle of Jamaica. She did make the final in Budapest, finished in 11th place. Very good fourth in Marrakesh. When was that? It's Wednesday today. Marrakesh was Sunday. So a bit of travel for Smickle, but not too bad. There we go. Good opening effort there for Smickle over the 60 metres. Opening throw for the Jamaican athlete Smickle. It's been measured at 63.25, so that's a new event leader in the first round of the men's discus. Just Simon Pettersson left to throw in the opening round. Next track action due off in around about 4 or 5 minutes is the women's 400-metre hurdles. We've already seen a good time, Olympic qualifying mark from Carl Bengtström on the men's side. And the women's event features a lot of talent, including Nikoleta Hiechova of Poland. She's one of the fastest athletes entered. Going to correct myself before we even get to the women's 400-metre hurdles. I was just looking it up to make sure. Hiechova is, of course, from the Czech Republic. My start list says she's from Poland, and I was thinking, I don't think she is. You hear the sound effects there for Simon Pettersson. Didn't sound good, didn't sound positive. He's the only athlete left to throw in the opening round. Simon Pettersson has had his opening throw measured at 61.54. So as we conclude round one of the men's discus, Travis Zwickel in the lead with 63.25. Philip Milanov of Belgium in second, 62.57. And then Simon Pettersson in third, 61.54. Milanov throws second in the throwing order. He held on to that lead for much of the round one. He just had to give way to Zwickel. We also had Lucas Nervi with his second effort, 57.55. He stays in 7th place. If you want to check out the full results from today, they're on a website called athlete-liveresults.fr. There will be a link on the European Athletics website as well to take you to those live results. But if you head to the Meeting de Marseille website as well, you'll be able to find everything there. And while we wait for the women's 400-metre hurdles, I'll do a full recap of the men's result. Carl Bengtström of Sweden won in 48.49, a meeting record. Joshua Abuaku of Germany was second in 48.90, a season's best. Julien Bonvin of Switzerland was third, 49.43, that was the season's best. Konstantin Pleiss of Germany, 49.59. Thomas Barr was fifth in 49.68. And Jordan Teres, 51.45, was in sixth. And unfortunately, we had a DNF from Borala of France. So just the 6 finishers in the men's hurdles, which leads us round to the women's 400-metre hurdles. There's a look at the full start list. Standout competitors to keep your eye out for: Noura Ennadi of Morocco. Recently picked up a silver medal at the African Championships. And there was a bronze medal for Linda and Gunu as well, who's over in lane 2. But we'll start out here in lane 8 with Alice Moraro of Italy. She just won her heat in Reylingen in Germany in a meet there a few days ago, 56.02. Camille Serdi of France, European under-23 silver medal in the 4x4 back in 2021. She's got a season's best of 56.35, around about half a second off her lifetime best at the moment. Nikoleta Hiechova goes in lane 6. She's got the fastest season's best of 55.67, set that coming third in Chorzów a few days ago. This whole field, incidentally, the whole field set personal best last year. In great shape. Lane 5 goes to the Moroccan Noura Ennadi. a semi-finalist at the World Championships in Budapest last year, and then moved on to a silver medal at the African Games a few weeks ago. Louise Maraval of France takes lane 4. She's a silver medalist at the Under-23 Championships last year. Binta Diallo Fatoumata goes in lane 3. National champion from last year, 55.71. It's been a couple of tenths of her lifetime best this season. This is Linda Angunu from Cameroon. She picked up the bronze medal behind Inadi at those African Games. She's also the national record holder for Cameroon with 55.94. And the final athlete in lane 1, Eileen Demez of Germany. Very experienced through the age groups representing Germany. She was 4th at the World Juniors back in 2016, and she ran a big personal best in the semi-final of the heats of the World Championships to qualify for the semi-final last year in Budapest. 55.29 her best. So the qualifying mark for the European Championships that's eligible, it's appropriate for everyone in this field apart from Inadi and Angunu, is 55.70. These athletes very, very close to that this season, so that could be a mark they're aiming for. The meeting record, though, perhaps unattainable, 53.72 from one Sydney McLaughlin. Now McLaughlin-Lavrone, that was set back in 2019. Louise Maraval, the French woman that goes in lane 4, she's the national lead at the moment, and the European lead, 54.73 from Lena Nielsen. And away, no problem. Full 8 lanes here used. Empty lane 1 in the men's race, but everyone is here in the women's. Hichova getting a fast start. She's in the yellow vest, just pulling up alongside Seri of France. Hichova really getting into her running down the back straight. Let's watch her rise over the hurdle. She has got company. Is that lane 4, Louise Maraval, the French woman. And inside of her, Fatouma Diallo of Portugal moving well as well. Hichova is going to come under pressure in the home straight. We could have 3 or 4 women running side by side. Look at them all rising together. Looks like Angunu is moving well. Diallo, Maraval and Hichova. Inadi as well, the Moroccan woman going well. And they're fighting over the final flight. It is the home woman, Louise Maraval of France, striding away in front of the home crowd. Marara of Italy going well out in lane 8. It's going to be a win for Louise Maraval. She cuts the tape, 54.44 for the French woman. That's right, is a huge, huge personal best for Maraval. She looks absolutely flabbergasted. That's way under the Olympic qualifying mark. That is a huge personal best. Maraval has just had the absolute run of her life. That is a personal best by 1.4 seconds. Maraval has wintered well. She's been training hard. Silver medal at the Under-23 Championships last year, and you don't do that by accident. And you can see tears for Mararo as well. It's a big personal best for her. She's 100th outside the Olympic qualifying mark, but still a huge lifetime best for Alice Mararo in second place. Inadi with a good season's best as well for the Moroccan. Hichova really set the pace through the first 100, 150 or so, and Maraval got into her running down the back straight. She could have got stressed here intense as she had Diallo, Inadi, Hichova all around her, but it was the opposite from the French woman. She relaxed, she opened her stride and powered away in that last 50 metres. Alice Mararo wouldn't have seen anybody for the first 250, 300 metres of that race, and she would have been delighted as they wound into the home straight as the Italian woman found herself very much in the mix. Maraval, that's a lovely response, and I wonder, is that going to be the biggest personal best we see today? 1.4 seconds, an Olympic qualifying mark to go with Carl Bengström's Olympic qualifying mark on the men's side. There's confirmation. of the women's 400 metre hurdles results. Louise Maraval, new lifetime best, 54.44. Alice Mararo, 54.86, a new lifetime best for the Italian as well. And Nora Enadi of Morocco backing up her silver medal at the African Games with a third place here in Marseille, 55.03. Pichova, 55.69. She really went for it, the Pichova, through the first half of the race. Happened to settle for fourth place. And those are the plaques we've got here today. The minimum standard for the Olympics and the minimum standard for the European Championships. Let's hear from Maraval. So apologies, I'm not getting any sound from the infield interviews. I'll stay quiet just in case you are. So Louise Maraval nearly collecting all the plaques. She didn't quite have the meeting record plaque. She had the other two. The minimum standard for the Olympics and for the European Championships. Congratulations, Louise Maraval. So we've got the men's discus underway already. And the women's long jump is going to be getting started pretty soon. They might already be jumping. I think they've waited patiently. There was a bit of a delay there as everyone caught up with Louise Maraval and that huge personal best. Elena Toro-Kottmann will be on the second sheet here, I think, the bronze medalist from Budapest. There she is. She'll jump in 9th. And Monet Nichols, the world indoor silver medalist, will jump in 10th. So 2 global medalists down there, and Marte Koala, the Diamond League winner from Shanghai. This is Petra Bahindi Farkas of Hungary. Best this season of 66 metres 53. Was set in Budapest last week. 5th at the World Junior Championships back in 2018. 13th at the Glasgow World Indoor Championships. Rugisu of France, next to be introduced. She jumped 6.57 indoors in January. That was her longest jump in 5 years. She's just finished up a 2-week training stint in the United States and said she's excited by what she's been working on out there. Marisa Luzolo of Germany up next. Malika Mahambo getting her season underway this weekend, I believe. This is another German, another proficient jumper. Season's best of 6.60 for her. She won the European Team Championships a few years ago. It's Eloise Lesseur-Amounin of France. Posted some lovely pictures online of her training alongside her son. She's got a small baby, took a couple of years away from competing. But on her day, so good. 5th in 2012 and then won the World Indoor Championships and the European Outdoor Championships. Natalia Linares of Colombia has got the furthest season's best with 6 meters and 82. She set that winning the Ibero-American Championships a few weeks ago. It's Angelica Barrio of France. 12 centimetre personal best at the Indoor National Championships. Took a win there, 6:55. Mate Koala up next. Nation of Burkina Faso, very much put on the map by Hugues Fabrice Sango in the men's triple jump. But Koala jumping really well as well. She was a heptathlete before she was a specialist long jumper. Took a win, as I mentioned, in the Shanghai Diamond League at the end of April. This is Yanis David of France. Finalist in Munich at the European Championships back in 2022. Best of 6:64 this season. Penultimate athlete being introduced in this women's long jump is Alina Răturu-Cotman from Romania. Third place finisher in Budapest. She was 8th at Glasgow at the World Indoor Championships. She's 2nd at her Indoor National Championships with 6:71. That's her best this season. This is Monet Nichols, who had a wonderful, wonderful day in Glasgow back at the start of March. She was in the gold medal position for quite a while until Tara Davis-Woodall overhauled her, but they did go 1-2 for the United States. Nichols hasn't got an outdoor season's best listed. She did jump a huge 6:91, but with a following wind a few weeks ago. I think that was in Bermuda. So let's go and take a moment to catch up with the men's discus. We're in the second round. For Fideker back into the circle. We've had a huge throw from Travis Smickle, 65-61, a new meeting record for the Jamaican, overhauling the mark that stood since 2018 to Victor Hugen. But this is Alan Fideker of Romania, down in 3rd place at the moment. Come down around about perhaps the 60-metre mark again for Fideker. 61.53 that's been measured at. So we've got a 55-metre takedown there and a 65. So for Fideker, just between that, 61.53. He stays in 3rd place. This takes us round to the current leader, Travis Smickle of Jamaica. We shouldn't be surprised that 65-metre throw. He's thrown 67 this season. I think that's gone wide. Apologies. It's not Smickle next. Juhan of France. That's a foul there. $55.90, $57.01 for Juhan. And now a foul. Now it's Smickle. We haven't had any wind readings here yet for Marseille. We saw a windsock, but it was a zoomed in view, so I'm not sure which direction the wind was going in. There's some decent throwing going on here in the discus, suggesting there's a favourable wind for these men. And that's going to be underneath 60 metres, I think, for Smickle. Well under, so that's close to the... perhaps a 60-metre take there. And I think, yeah, self-imposed foul for the new meeting record holder. So we are going to have a look at Simon Pettersson. We missed his first few efforts. 61.54 and then a foul for the Swede. 63.82 for Pettersson. That's an improvement enough to put him up in third place ahead of FRA and Richter. So that concludes round 3 of the men's discus. I imagine they'll do a reshuffle now. That's what normally happens. That's what all the officials are gathered there together. And I wonder if we'll see Laulausen Juan of France get another effort. He's down in 9th place at the moment. They might cut him here and just take 8 through to the final 3 rounds. So we pause in the action there for the discus as they get rejigged. Just a reminder, Smichel top of the pile, 65.61. Milanov second, 63.90. Pettersson, 63.82 at the moment. And that gives us some time to focus on the women's long jump. Sue on the runway. We've had a first jump from Bahindi Farkas, 6 metres 34. And now Rugi Sue. Looks like a nice opening effort from Sue. Oh, lots on the board there. We haven't got electronic measurements here to tell you quite how much, but to naked eye, she's way behind the white there. A nice bit of old-fashioned plasticine down there, I think. So Sue, 6.50. And that puts her in an early lead, just the 2 jumpers so far. I think that might be the furthest that Sue's jumped outdoors. She had a 6.57 in January. And so to start here in round 1 with a 6.50, it's great jumping. Rizzolo up next. 3rd in the European Under-20s back in 2014. If she gets the green flag, it's another good jump over 6.5 metres, I think. Let's see if we can get a wind reading for these. I mean, given plus 0.5 for Sue, plus 1.9 for Bahindi Farkas. So it's a nice wind for these women. Ah, it's a shame they're foul for the German. But with a following wind, it could push you further down the runway, further towards the board than you might expect. So that wind, that's not necessarily good news for the home straight here in Marseille. We've already seen lightning quick times in the 400-metre hurdles. Perhaps if you've got it with you down the back straight and then you're a bit sheltered in the home straight, that might be okay. As you can see on the track, ready to race the men's 400 metres just behind. But we'll see Lasseur Amonin of France jump first. Ooh, was that close on the board as well? Lasseur Amonin, I mentioned, so good in the 2012, 2014 kind of era. And it's working her way back into that form, but not a good start for the French women. It's a foul. So I have the discus and the long jump ongoing throughout this programme. They are the only 2 field events we've got. And loads and loads of track action going on as well. It is the men's 400 metres next. It's due off any second. Got a couple of men in this field that have gone under 45 seconds in their lifetime. Jean-Paul Bredau of Germany and Håvard Bentfeldt Ingvardsson, the Norwegian, who goes in lane 6, the Norwegian record holder. There is Jean-Paul Bredau out in lane 8, 45.48, his best this season. Made the mixed 4x4 World Championship final with the German squad last summer. See Bear do that 44.96 set last season. Move to lane 7, Christian Igosel of Belgium, world indoor champion with the Belgium squad in Glasgow. He ran a 45.1 at the World Relays in the mixed relay heats, and then unfortunately the Belgian team dropped the baton in the final. Horford of Bentville Ingoldsson had a breakout performance at the Oslo Diamond League last season, ran a national record. He then went on to win the European Under-23 Championships, then headed to Budapest, bettered that national record in the opening round and got himself all the way to 6th in the final. Dylan Borlay's got a pair of gold medals from the World Indoor Championships in Belgrade and retained that title in Glasgow with the Belgian quartet. So we move to lane 4, Omar El Khatib of Portugal, recently 45.46 in Brazil. He made the semi-final at the World Indoor Championships. He ran 45.05 for his split at the World Relays. The Portuguese athlete is in form. So we had Jan Spulman down for lane 3. I'm not sure he was there. Lewis Davey goes in lane 2. The British athlete just split 45.48 at the World Relays and got a silver medal in the mixed 4x4 in Budapest. And Lionel Spitz of Switzerland has got a bit of a harsh lane draw here. Great progress last year, all the way down to 45.25. He took a silver at the European Under-23 Championships behind Horford Bentville Ingoldsson. Made the final in Budapest as well last time we had in Munich last time we had a European Championships. There we go, confirmation it is an empty lane 3 for Jan Spulman. He wasn't wandering around and getting a drink or anything, he is out. So just 7 men here for the men's 400. World Relay Championship was phenomenal in Bahamas a few weeks ago. So many good relay splits from a lot of the men in this field. They'll be desperate to recreate that in the open event, get themselves a new personal best. Lewis Davey was certainly one of those men for Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And it's a good, strong start there from Dylan Borlay. He moves up alongside Ingoldsson. Dylan Borlay flying down the back straight here. He'll have an eye on Igosel, his Belgian teammate. Horford Bentville Ingoldsson has got to wake up here a bit. The Norwegian is being flanked by 2 strong Belgians as they move through with 150 to go. There goes Ingoldsson. That was, to me, was a bit of a response. But is he running his own race or getting pulled into a sprint with Dylan Borlay? They're spread across the track. Bredo going well in lane 8. And there comes Ingoldsson. Is he going to be the strongest in the last 50? He's trying to edge himself ahead. He's got Bredo for company in lane 8. So tight on the line there. Brilliant running from all of the Belgians. Apologies, Bredo, of course, is German. In my excitement here, picking him out in lane 8. I got his flag confused. I was thinking, I'm sure there wasn't 3 Belgians in this. German, of course. Bredo. And he's got a new season's best at 45.42. Oh, 200ths outside of the European qualifying mark for Rome. But one of the fastest times we've seen in Europe so far this season. So good running from Bredo. Some chanting going on in the crowd as well. Bredo so strong. That dip was perfect. I wonder if Ingoldsson knew he was there. Ingoldsson was focusing on Dylan Borlay and Igosel was right there with 100 metres to go. Bredo running well on the outside. Borlay ran a really strong first 200 metres. Gave himself every shot there, staying in the mix. Just faltered ever so slightly the last 40 metres. El Khatib of Portugal was finishing strongly, but no one as strongly as Bredo of Germany. As a confirmed result, 45.42 for the win, just 300ths ahead of Ingveldsson, 45.45. Season's best for the Norwegian. Omar El Khatib in third, 45.68. So Bordeaux takes maximum points and maximum prize money. Like I say, agonisingly close, I think, to the European qualifying mark. Bordeaux now in the women's long jump. Still in the opening few rounds. Skips out the pit. That was 6.55 for Bordeaux. Equalled her lifetime best she set at the French National Indoor Championships with her first jump. For Sue and Bordeaux, the two French women, going very well. Nichols of the United States. They're getting the tape out. That indicates perhaps a valid jump. Nichols bites her nails as she waited. Has it been given as a foul? No, they are measuring it. Nichols 6.37 for her first jump, which just puts her in 5th place. So back round to Banhidi Farkas to start round 2. Next track action is the women's 800 metres in 5 minutes. So we'll catch up with the women's long jump and the men's discus hopefully before that. You can see the 800 metre runners prowling round in the background. But Banhidi Farkas 6.34 for her first jump. Be a relief for her. She did no mark in Huelva in Spain at the end of April. So I think when you've done that in a competition, any chance you get a valid effort is nice. Banhidi Farkas, it's a lovely hang she has. Almost like a bound. Banhidi Farkas measured it just 6 metres there, so no improvement on her 6.34. Back to Smichel, the leader in the men's discus. 65.61 meeting record in round 2, a foul. And then that looks be around about 65 metres again for Smichel. Still got Milanov in 2nd place. He's improved to 63.90 in round 2. Patterson in 3rd place at the moment, 63.82. So that was 64.43 for Smichel. They have redrawn the throwing order here. Lucas Nervi will start round 5. She's been pushed down into 3rd place. She did have an early lead, but Marte Koala is in 6.53 with her opening jump, and then an equaling personal best 6.55 from Berrio. Here's a look at the women's 800 metres start list. Natalia Kroll, 2-time European champion, will go in lane 2. Host of talented French women. Anne Bourgeon is the French lead at the moment, 2 dead 31. Ran that a new personal best in Montreal, just ahead of Charlotte Pizot, who goes in lane 6. Lorea Abazabal, one of the Spanish 800-metre runners, super strong. Lena Candisunon has run sub-2 last year. That was a kind of one and only sub-2. She'll be looking to do that again this season. Kopolnika of Poland is out here in lane 8. And Korzuk has got the pacemaking duties. She's got the inside of lane 8 there. Hopefully she'll get out of the way very quickly. Topolnika sub-2 a couple of years ago, just 2:05 this season. European Championship qualifying mark is 2 dead. Korzuk, I'm sure, will be hoping to bring them through in around about 58.5, 59 or so to keep them on track for that sub-2 clocking. Topolnika, third at the Polish National Championships a few years ago. Poland very, very strong in this event. Lane 7, Eugénie Morel of France, silver medalist at the French Under-23 Championships a couple of years ago. 2:01.97 new lifetime best set this season. Lorea Abazabal and Charlotte Pizot share lane 6. Pizot 2 dead 58. She's actually run 2 dead twice this season, Pizot. Just agonisingly close to that magic 2-minute barrier. Abazabal on 59.8 last season. She was a finalist at the European Indoor Championships in Istanbul. Takes us to lane 5, and Assia Raziki of Morocco, 2 dead 91 last year, 2-1 this year. Francophone Games champion last year. So I think we don't have Bobasea, we just have Lieberman here in lane 4. The French woman got that lane all to herself. Lena Candisunon takes lane 3. She dipped under 2 minutes last season as well, copying the introduction there. So Anne Bourgeon, is she going to continue the French snake impression? Maybe not. Natalia Kroll of Ukraine, the 2-time European champion, takes the outside. Anne Bourgeon, real opportunity here today, 2 dead 31. If she can get close to that 2 minutes flat, she could be putting herself to the European Championships and then perhaps a bid at a home Olympic Championships. Final athlete in lane 1, Julia Chiraud, 4-time under-23 national champion for France. So Babocha of Romania is a non-starter. Still a very big field down here. Let's hope they get off to a fast start and they can spread themselves around the track. Real intent on the start line there for Anne Bourgeon. She left Natalia Kroll, the Ukrainian, in her wake. Similarly, Bazabal's been left by Charlotte Pizot. So the 2 French women look really, really up for this. Strong start in the middle there as well from Clara Lieberman. So the pacemaker, Julia Korzuk, will do her best to get ahead of these women. And so often, a fast first 100 metres, 150, and then everyone slams the brakes on and tries to get into a good position. Assia Raziki of Morocco got herself, looked like she was going to be in pole position, and Pizot just kept her foot on the gas for another 20, 30 metres or so. But that messing around, that looking at each other at 150 has mean they've lost the pacemaker. Korzuk is away down the track. Pizot sensing the danger, just getting herself back towards the pacemaker if she can. That's Morel of France slotting into second place. Lots of big moves down there. 59 dead through 400 metres. That's good, but it's not lightning quick. And when the pacemaker steps aside, you'd imagine it's going to be around, I was going to say 500 metres, if not before. There goes the pacemaker. Charlotte Pizot of France takes up the running. She's got the lead at the moment, but she's being challenged. Pizot pushed down into second place. That is Eugénie Morel of France has put herself into the lead. Lieberman makes a big move round the outside. Bourgeon still moving well. She's on the outside. She's running for a further distance. But Pizot, such smart racing from the second Frenchwoman. She almost allows Morel to take the lead and then moves to the outside of lane 1 to give herself every shot at powering down this home straight. It's a very, very busy home straight. They've got 80 metres to go and they're spread across the track. Everybody driving, everyone trying to finish as fast as they can. Pizzo looks down. She drives her arms. Charlotte Pizzo is going to run the perfect race. She's going to take the win here today. Outside 2 minutes though. 2:01.08. Riziki got herself in a good position early on but couldn't hold it. Pizzo got herself out of trouble and tried to chase down the pacemaker, and then I think took her foot off the gas down the back straight. Perhaps she didn't want to use her sprint finish to hold people off. She wanted to save something for the last 50. I think perhaps there's an apology there from Eugenie Morel, kind of saying maybe she cut her out, and Pizzo saying, no, it's all right, that's racing. Barzabal perhaps had a go down the home straight, but I didn't see her for much of the rest of the race. It was very, very congested. The pacemaker went off very well. And I think probably took her foot off the gas ever so slightly when she realised that the field wasn't with her. See Riziki here and Pizzo. It's kind of going, hang on a minute, this isn't as fast as I thought it was going to be. Barzabal there in the middle of the pack. It's really, really congested there. It was hard for these women to get a clean run. And Pizzo perhaps the best placed out of the athletes, and that showed there in the home straight. She had a lot of energy left. Bourgeon couldn't repeat her victory over Pizzo as she had a few weeks ago. So Charlotte Pizzo takes the win, 2:01.07. Asia Riziki, 2:01.36, season's best for the Moroccan. Candace Sounon with a season's best as well, 2:01.52. She takes third place. Pizzo has the domestic bragging rights here in Marseille. So we've seen lightning quick times in the hurdles races. And then the men's 400 and the women's 8 there. Not quite as quick. I think we take a look at the women's long jump and their wind readings. That might show us a little bit about what's going on down there. This is Yanis David. She's had a foul in the first round. And this her round 2 jump. I mentioned she was a finalist in Munich, apologies, at those European Championships a couple of years ago. David very close to the board there. Might be a foul. We've got 10 athletes here in this women's long jump as well. Ooh, that's all right, I think. David's going to be just about okay. Technological changes in the long jump have been something to keep up with over the last couple of seasons. No vertical plane here in Marseille. It looks like good old-fashioned plasticine down there. And David, I don't think she touched that plasticine. I think she'll be all right. David got measured there at 6:47. That puts her in 5th place. Rotordo Kottman still down in 6th place. 6:41 is the best for the World Championship bronze medalist. Still a red flag out for Rotordo Kottman. Raking the pit, sorting it out. Hassim in 6th place at the moment. The French athlete, 61.68. Hassim trying to find a bit more here. It's just 59.52 for Hassim. He stays in 6th place. That's where we are at the moment in round 5 in the men's discus. Apologies, it's round 6. So Guy Hassian, that was his final throw. We come round to Stephen Richter for his final throw. The youngster, the German, has been throwing a couple of metres further than he's managed today in Marseille. And that's going to be just over 60 metres, I think, or 50. Apologies, I'm struggling to make out the markers on the side of the track. Get my eye in as we flip between events. It's a foul for Richter anyway on the system. But if you like your discus throwing, Stephen Richter is certainly someone to root for. Definitely up and coming. So Alan Fifirlica took a win at the European Throwing Cup ahead of Milanov and Pettersen, who are getting the better of him here today in Marseille. Fifirlica started his Olympic season off really well with his furthest throw in some 4 years. The Romanian 66.07 in the air in Portugal for that throwing cup. To 63.56 today. That's probably around about 63, 64 again. So I think the red cone we had down there, that might be the meeting record, 65.20. That has been surpassed by Smickel with his 65.61. So for Fifirlica's last throw, as we measured at 63.70, so that is the best of his competition, but not enough to change his position. He stays 12 centimetres behind Pettersen. So Simon Pettersen, 70-metre thrower at his very, very best, 64.20 this season. Silver in Tokyo, 5th in Eugene. Third place at the moment. The noise we got there from Pettersen indicated it wasn't right. So too far right for Pettersen. It's a foul. He stays in third place. Just Philip Milanov and Travis Smickel left to go in the women's discus, men's discus. And we had Vittorio Kottmann on the runway when we last left the long jump. I'll just try and see if I can get an update for you. Vittorio Kottmann's second jump. It was 6:36. So no improvement for the Romanian. 2 throws left in the men's discus. Next track race is the men's steeplechase in 4 minutes. And if you like steeplechase, don't go too far. This is a really good result for Milanov. He threw a national record all the way back in 2016. And he's going to be disappointed with that. Wrong side of 60 metres, going to walk out the front. But Milanov is getting himself back on track, back towards his very best in the last couple of years. Silver medal at the World Championships in 2015 and the European Championships in 2016. Threw well last year, couldn't quite make the final in Budapest. But a good second place here for Milanov. He looks pretty frustrated though, the Belgian. He's done a 3-metre season's best. So Travis Smickel has converted his 4th place in the Marrakesh Diamond League to a win here in Marseille and a new meeting record. That might have been... No, it did land in the sector. Could be another throw in the mid 60 metres for Smickel. .64.82, the final throw for Smickel, but he's the winner. He's the new meeting record holder. And the athletes will pack up and start their warm downs, their cool downs, and look towards their next competition. And there's so many opportunities in the next couple of weeks to compete. Mentioned just 16 days until the European Championships in Rome, so there'll be a bit of a lull in the competition there. If you haven't qualified for the European Championships, or if you're from another nation, there's not that many opportunities to compete So a lot of our athletes will compete some 2, 3, 4 times in a fortnight right now. Use those competition opportunities before the break for the European Championships. Off the other side of that, they'll have another couple of weeks of races before there's a break for the national championship window. And then we are just 4 or 5 weeks away from those Paris Olympic Games. Here's a look at the male steeplechasers. Kipsang of Kenya is on pacing duty. He's been asked for 5:30 through 2 kilometres. And that's bang on 8:15, which is the Olympic qualifying mark. The European standard is 8:25. There's a whole load of men that have got that standard in this field, and a few just close to it. Not relevant, of course, for Haile Mariam Amare of Ethiopia. Double at the African Championships a few years ago in the 5K and the steeplechase. 8:06 competitor on his best. 8:15 to win Chores out the other day. Daguna won in Reylingen in 8:15. Samuel Daguma just going through his shot there. Can't see Yacine Bouhi, perhaps a withdrawal from the Italian. That's Luc Le Baron. And Fernando Caro, number 2 Spanish athlete, but 8:05 in his very best day. Carabana of Andorra, the Andorran national record holder. He's came 3rd at the European Championships under 23 a few years ago. Abdelhamid Zarifi goes next. Matthew Kosgei of Kenya due in there as well. Can't see him though. Alexis Mile, very interesting to see Mile. First ever steeplechase a few weeks ago. 8:24 for a debut, the 1500 metre man, changing events. Yaridi of Tunisia is up next. And then Topi Raitanen, the European champion for Munich. What a finish he had that day. Last year, probably a bit rough for Raitanen, but he's back to good form. 2nd in Karlsruhe the other day. Behind Daguma is Vidar Johansson of Sweden, 8:18 a couple of years ago. Louis Galver of France, 8:24 this season. 3rd at the World University Cross Country Championships this winter. Ziduni of Spain goes in lane 2. And Karl Bebendorf is the final athlete from Germany. Finalist at the European Championships in Munich, came 5th there. He has a good finish on him as well. He was 3rd in Chorso behind Amare. But ahead of Yacine Bouhi, I think he has withdrawn. The Italians run well in the last couple of weeks, perhaps deciding he didn't need to run today. Well, perhaps he just disappeared off and he is down there somehow, somewhere. Gulliver getting some camera time, but men's French steeplechasing has always been very, very good. Of course, Makisi Benabad and Bob Tari, so good on their day. And Johan Kowal has been a stalwart of French steeplechasing, but he doesn't seem quite in shape this season, Kowal. Perhaps dealing with some issues. He has still got a good few weeks till they pick that French team. But they've got Bedrani on 8:13, Dardieu on 8:16, Formont on 8:23. Those 3 men not even here. That takes us next to Gulliver. He's a 4th ranked French steeplechaser at the moment. And then when you've got someone like Alexis Millet in the Adidas kit there, choosing to come to this event. Millet is a medalist at the World University Championships over 1500 metres, a 3:34 man. But that's deciding he's got to reinvent himself as a steeplechaser. It's been all right for Geordie Beamish, the New Zealand athlete. Moved from 1500 to steeplechase very successfully last year. Topi Raitanen, it would be wonderful to see this man back in his tip-top shape. Could he defend his title in Rome? 8:21, his best so far. He really flew through the field in Karlsruhe a few days ago. It's also 8th in Tokyo, Raitanen. Slight delay for these men, nothing major. It's 2 or 3 minutes at the moment. We'll have a look at Berriot of France, who was leading the women's long jump last time we checked in, but she's now down in 3rd place. Had a 6:77 from Natalia Linares, the Colombian, has gone into the lead. And Monet Nichols, the American, has gone into second place with 6:64. Berio equalled her personal best in the first round, then a 6:30. Now this for her third jump. Doesn't look quite up towards the 6.5 metres. And so 6:31 for Berio. Great effort though, equalling her personal best for the first jump. Perfect on the board. So Berio hasn't got to move her run up at all. Just for anyone keeping track of the wind, that's a minus 0.6 this time. We have had a plus wind for these women, and it's now flipped to a minus. It does seem to be swirling, so changing all the time. But nothing too significant. You can see the windsock there on the left-hand side. Berio stays in third place. Mate Koala of Burkina Faso will jump next. She's on 6:53, 2 centimetres behind Berio. Just under 30 centimetres behind Natalia Linares. Meeting record 6:87 by Catherine Ebarguen back in 2018. These women keep pushing each other. Oh, I think that might have been a foul from Koala. Steeplechase is patiently waiting. Who's that? They've gone off for a long old stride. As much as you try and play it cool, you're slightly panicked that you need to get yourself back in. Fernando Caro. So a domestic battle between Louis Guillavert and Alexis Milo will be of interest here. Luc Le Baron, one of the other Frenchmen down there, he has gone underneath 8:30 this season, but not as close to 8:20 as Millet and Guillavert. We've seen some huge men's steeplechase fields in the last couple of weeks in Reylingen and Karlsruhe, and it'll be the same in Ordegem this weekend. Today's field a tiny bit smaller. It goes David, 7th place at the moment in the women's long jump. Foul for David. She stays in 7th place. So they are off in the men's steeplechase. Always a nice fast first lap. That's a pretty early first hurdle for these men. What are we looking at here? Is it an outside water jump? Might be, judging by that start. Alexis Millet slots into 3rd place. Fernando Caro into 2nd out of the races. Just trying to identify the other ASICS kit up towards the front. Could have been Zarifi of France. There we go. They do head to the outside for the water jump, so it'd be nice slow laps for these men. It was Guillavert. Oh, he really chopped his stride into that first water jump. Some enthusiastic cheering on from a French coach there on the sidelines, I think. So Guillavert, that's better. Alexis Millet's got himself in a good position. And Fernando Caro, Spanish athlete, just on the outside there, and that's a big move. I think that's Amare, Mariam Yamare, putting himself into 3rd place with the arm sleeves on. Or was it Samuel de Guma? It's Amare and de Guma running side by side, just behind Caro, and Alexis Millet has just let the 2 Ethiopians get ahead of him there. Guillavert hasn't looked comfortable hurdling at the minute. And they're losing ground on Kipsang, the pacemaker. Fernando Caro noticing, I think, that Louis Guilliver is floundering slightly. Let's have a look, see if Guilliver can fare better over this water jump. Oh, stutter there from Caro as well. Just causes havoc down the field. Topi Raitanen all the way at the back of the field at the moment. The Finn struggling, losing contact from this group that's large, but it is spread out. Okay, Guilliver, perhaps he didn't want to be leading the races. Coro doesn't want to waste any time here. Kipsang at the front. Emare is the athlete with the arm sleeve on. Samuel Daguma in the Adidas strip. He's just slotting into third place. Then we have Caro of Spain and then Guilliver of France. Okay, so I think Louis Guilliver just didn't want to be leading out of those races. He wanted to be at the back of this group. Still stuttering there. Alexis Millet. The other Frenchman trying to get back on terms with Guilliver. And the Andorran in the green vest running well as well. Nahul Karabana. Also very much to fight for. Bebendorf, Karl Bebendorf, you can make him out. He's about halfway down the field, but he finishes like an absolute train. So they've gone through 1 kilometre, these men. Apologies, I haven't got a split for that. Oh, that's a bit of a laboured hurdle there from Haile-Mariam Emare. He's willing himself on. You can see him just dipping his head every so often. Great cross-country runner. He was 9th place at the World Cross Country a couple of years ago in Australia. And definitely a school of thought. If you're good at cross-country, you're going to be good at steeplechase. If you can tolerate your stride getting broken up and having to burst forwards and backwards. And Emare is a very animated runner here. Grits his teeth, focuses on that barrier, steps on it. And Samuel Daguna running smoothly in second place. These two have both taken wins on the circuit. Emare in Horsau in Poland and Daguna in Reilingen in Germany. Daguna did that win. Most of the running for that came in the last 500, 600 metres or so as he pulled away from the rest of the field. Daguna looks like he's going to have a lot of company. That was a nice water jump approach there from Emare. See the big long strides to get himself into it. Guilliver and Millet, the two Frenchmen battling it out behind. Karabana making moves up alongside Alexis Millet. And it's a big kick from Emare. He's looking around, trying to see if anyone's with him. He overtakes the pacemaker. That's 3 to go for these men. And Emare looks like he's absolutely thrown the hammer down. We should get a 2K split. Unfortunately, I don't think the clock is stopping live, but if my maths is correct, outside, they're not going to get that 2K split for a while. I think it might be round about the top of the home straight. So I think around 5:30 would have them on for Olympic qualifying mark of 8:15. If they were running 400-metre circuits, they'd be wanting 62s to hit that Olympic qualifying mark. But we have got a longer lap as they head towards the outside of the track for the long jump, for the water jump. I sometimes think it's kinder with an outside water jump. You haven't got sharp turns. Comments about the new Olympic track, as people looked at pictures of that, looked like a sharp turn off the water pit back onto the track. Kind of bend here with the big laps. Emare still driving from the front. Daguna just behind it. This time they will see 2 laps to go. The two Ethiopians running side by side. And there goes Louis Guilliver trying to get himself involved. Karabana has been there or thereabouts, running wide the Andorran. He follows Guilliver. He goes into 4th place. For the first time, Fernando Caro of Spain is looking a little bit tired. He's an 8:05 man at his best, 8:22 this season. Karl Bebendorf back in the second group. The pacemaker still in the race. Lawrence Kemboy Kipsang. That's hanging in there for a time for himself. He's on 8:29 this season. Haile-Mariam Emare, very much the man to beat. He's looked, it's like animated is the word I'd say. It's busy from Emare. He's looking left, he's looking right. He's almost refocusing himself on every hurdle. He's stepping on them. It isn't doing him any harm. Louis Guilliver, he was energetic. He was brave in the first 600 metres. And then Guilliver seemed to settle. Perhaps that was a furious yelling from the side. A coach telling him, you're going off too hard. Just relax, just relax. But Gilliver here, this time, he will see one to go. The French lead is 8:13 at the moment. Gilliver is a number 4 ranked athlete in France. He's got the calibre to have a go at that Olympic team, but he's got to put his foot down now. He seems to be looking over at a big screen, perhaps looking for Alexis Millet. His French teammate is still hanging on to the back of this group, the 1500 metre specialist. Amare back into the lead. Daguna responds to that. Millet starts his final lap. There's a group of 6 running really well. They ran about 7:05, 7:10 through the bell. The Olympic qualifying time of 8:15. It'll be tough for these men to get it with this big lap. The longer than 400 metre lap. But Samuel Daguna, as he did in Karlsruhe, strikes for home down the back straight. He had a great turn of pace there. Amare trying to go with him. Louis Gilliver still in there. Coro, and Carabanas really muscling their way over that barrier. One water jump, one barrier on the home straight for Daguna. He looks focused, he looks smooth. Big challenge here with the water jumps. He steps on, gets in. The rest of the men just behind. Gilliver took that well. Amare looks around. He looks tired. Carabana, the Andorran, in 4th place, having a fantastic run. But it is Samuel Daguna of Ethiopia as he takes one final hurdle. Gilliver stutters, Amare stutters, Carabana stutters. Millet takes it well though, but Gilliver will be the top Frenchman. 8:10, 8:11, 8:12. Olympic qualifiers, left, right and centre. Alexis Millet raises his arms aloft. He's hit that time as well. Wow. There are so many steeplechase races in Europe. Sometimes there's a lot of men in them and sometimes they get in each other's way. And today, that race was perfect. Embrace there, Gilliver and Millet. What a good job from those two. I think Bedrani will split them on the French rankings. But Alexis Millet rewarded with a brave move from the 1500. Louis Gilliver, good winter. We saw that bronze medal at the World University Championships of cross country, and that's strength. And look at them, they're hugging each other and hugging that. The minimum for the Olympics for Gilliver and for Millet, and I think it will be for Yassin, for Fernando Caro as well. At 8:13, so that's the same time as Bedrani. 8:13.70. Oh, it's faster. Gilliver has put himself number 1 on the French rankings. Millet has put himself at number 3, I believe. That's it. European lead, perhaps. No, Bedrani. No, that it should be. Oh no, apologies. We're missing off from the sheet I've got down here. The 8:12 from Daniel Arce of Spain. He ran that in Marrakesh. What a win though from Samuel Daguna. Similar tactics to those that he employed in Karlsruhe. National record for Carabana as well. He had a phenomenal last lap. Cado and Carabana gave away a second or so on the 3rd from last barrier. They clattered into that. Johansson looked pleased, and Bebendorf as well. They're underneath the European standard. That's 8:25. So top 9 all underneath that time as well. Phew, that was really some race there. Emade, really tried to control that race. There were a few bursts of speed perhaps on the Ethiopian that cost him in the last lap. Louis Gilliver ran really well, really patiently. You could tell he was really up for it, and then he had to tamper that down. I'll stay quiet in case you can hear the comments from Alexis Millet. Lovely pictures there again of Louis Gilliver and Alexis Millet, the two French athletes here in Marseille, putting on a show for the home crowd. But we mustn't sleep on Samuel Daguna, 8:12:44. Now, of course, the likes of Getnet Wale and Lemaitre Germa, not to mention the rest of them, Samuel Daguna will have a tough job to make that Ethiopian Olympic squad. But a win here at World Athletics Continental Tour Silver. Could we see Samuel Daguna in a Diamond League soon, or a Continental Tour Gold? Because he's winning everything he's in at the minute. So running a tiny bit behind here on the programme. We are due to have the women's 200 metres a couple of minutes ago, but you can forgive the local organisers here. They've got very, very overexcited about Louis Gilliver and Alexis Millet hitting Olympic qualifying marks in that men's steeplechase. So I think they deserve an extra couple of seconds. And I'm sure the women's 200 metre field will forgive them. There's confirmation of the steeple result. Daguna, personal best 8:12 for the Ethiopian. Gilliver, Millet underneath that Olympic qualifying mark in second and third. Haile Mariam Emare, a season's best for him with 8:15. And a national record from Nahul Karabana of Andorra, 8:16 for him. Could that be enough to see the Andorran off to the Olympics? Certainly to the European Championships first. Caro with a season's best in sixth. And Vidar Johansson with a season's best as well. Berrio, third place at the moment with her 6:55 lifetime best equaling jump. That looked nice from Berrio. The lead with Natalia Linares of Colombia. She's at 6:81 in the third round. We're into the fourth now. They'll be jumping in reverse order. So, Berrio, 6:36, very consistent in those 6:30s. That great first jump, should be keen to regain that form. So it will be Eloise Lesser, Amonen and Petra Bahindi Farkas that haven't made the cut into the next few rounds. Monet Nichols, the world indoor silver medalist, in second place at the moment. Just the one outdoor competition so far, 6:91, but with a 4 metre following wind. So Nichols doesn't have a, well, this is her best outdoor jump so far, 6:64. Ooh. I think those yellow cones there, my guess is they're on the meeting record of Katrin Ebarguen, 6:87. I think this could be an improvement for Nichols. I love the way she goes straight to the board. I'm not sure whether she's waiting to see what the tape says or whether she's asking them to help her figure out where she was on the board. I got overexcited there, I think, for Nichols. Just 6:53 for her fourth jump. And back round to Linares to complete round 4. So as Linares takes her fourth round effort, we'll have a look at the women's 200 metres. Down there on the track, they've been waiting patiently. We had a delay before the steeplechase and then too much excitement after the steeplechase. So the women might have been out there for a while, but the weather's nice here today in Marseille. The long jumpers there have a following wind, so there was a slight headwind into the finishing straight here. We'll see if that's going to affect these women. Sarah Achu-Yaquir of Switzerland will go in lane 8. Finalist in the World Championships in Doha with the 4x1 squad. Jessica Bianca Vesely of Germany goes in lane 7, the fastest season's best of the field, 23:24. Amy Hunt goes in lane 6, Cambridge graduate now based in Italy. Amy Hunt has got the world under-18 best from 2019. That's still her lifetime best, 22:42, but with her move into the professional ranks, she's getting stronger and stronger. She has a lifetime best over 100 this season. Marisa Père of France goes in lane 5, four-time champion of France and third in the European Under-20s a few years ago. This is Lorraine Martins of Brazil, two-time Brazilian national champion, 23:41 her best this season. Eloise Delatal goes in lane 3 for France. The age group silver medal at the 4x1 squad at the European Under-23 Championships. We move to lane 2, Lisa Marie Quay of Germany. Third at the European Championships for the 4x1 German squad. The age group championship, so important in developing these athletes. So many of them would have cut their teeth there. Marie Devanu of France completes the lineup in lane 1, 24:67 her best this season. But Lorraine Martins in lane 4, one of the fastest athletes in the field. Amy Hunt has the fastest lifetime best. I mentioned that was a few years ago. She won in Chorzów a few days ago, 22:85. She goes in lane 6. And Vesely, the fastest on season's best, outside Amy Hunt in lane 7, could be a target for the Brit to chase. So they're a little bit late to their blocks, but they are there. Devegnu of France in 1, Quay of Germany in 2, Delatal of France in 3, Martins of Brazil in 4, Parr of France in 5, Hunt of Great Britain in 6, Vesely of Germany in 7, and Achu-Yaquir of Switzerland in lane 8. And there were no problems. Amy Hunt putting all that new 100-metre personal best form to show here just around the bend. Amy Hunt up on Vesely at the moment. Part of France going well inside Amy Hunt. How can they convert off the bend? Amy Hunt perhaps just starting to tighten up ever so slightly. Quay of France going well in lane 2. But Amy Hunt, just as I say it, finds something extra in the last 50 metres. That cadence was going and going. 23:11 for Amy Hunt. It's not the quickest of times, but it's a win. The meeting record from Jenna Prandini survives. That was 22:97. Amy Hunt looks, I don't know what that looks like. Frustrated. She's staring at that clock saying, you sure that was right? The European qualifying mark is 23 dead. Okay, Amy Hunt coming off that 11 seconds, 0.12, a new lifetime best in the 100. Would have loved to have gone underneath 23 today, but that's what she got. It was a plus 0.4 on that for the win, so can't really blame that. Let's have a look back at the race. I think Amy Hunt had a great bend. Left Vesely behind her at this point. And it is Achu Yaquir of Switzerland who finished really well. But Hunt, I think, perhaps tight from 100 to 150. And I did find a good turn of pace, maintained her form really well in the last 50. Here's a look at the confirmed results of the women's 200 metres. Amy Hunt, 23.11. Sarah Achu-Yaquir, 23.42. Marisa Pare, 23.52. Season's best. Jessica Bianca Vesely, 23.64. Good soundtrack here in Marseille. So if you were in the area for this meeting again, it'd be worth coming for the action and that. So that women's 200 metres was slightly behind time. The next event due after this is the women's 1500 metres. They've got 3 or 4 minutes till that was due to go off, so they will have the time to catch up, I think, somewhat on the track here. And we have time to catch up with the long jump. Yanis David in 7th place at the moment. I think we're into round 5 here. So Rotordo Kotman has had her best jump of the competition, the world bronze medalist, with 6.45, but she stays down in 8th. Yanis David, 6.47 from round 2. David's been a bit erratic, a couple of fouls. Just a reminder, we are here at the European Athletics YouTube. We've got a lot of action on tonight. This is one of 4 meetings. Trondheim Games is going on with Carsten Vorholm running the 300 metre hurdles. The Austrian Open in Eisenstadt and the Kladno Tadensky Memorial. That's concluded in the Czech Republic. But we're here in Marseille with this World Athletics Continental Tour silver meeting. And this is Yanis David with a 5th round effort that I think will leave her similarly frustrated to her 4th. About the 6 metre mark again. Miles behind the board for David there. Yeah, all sorts wrong with that. David have another go. She's done 6.64 this season, so she's getting close to that with that 6.47. Around about an hour of action left here in Marseille. We've got the women's 1500, the men's 800, a women's 4 and a men's 15, and this long jump to wrap up. They're in round 5 now. So Babocha was due in the 800 metres. She's here in the outside of the 1500. Does that mean she's pacing? She doesn't say pace on her number. Most of the other pacemakers have had pace written down there. Babocha, a very, very good 1500 metre runner. I can't see her on the start list at all, the electronic start list. Pacemaking was due to be from Thisenek. I can't see her there, so perhaps Babocha has been asked to move from the 800 to pace this 1500. Babocha is a really good front runner. We always see her front running at championships. Well, we did when we had the non-automatic qualifiers, the time qualifiers. With that being done away from the championships, Babocha can kind of give up that mantle of pulling everyone to time qualifiers. Salome Alfonso of Portugal goes on the outside here. She fell at the Czech Indoor Gala, bounced back so well, came 8th at the World Indoor Championships. Ludovica Cavalli ran 3,000 metres indoors, lowered her best to 8.44, but she's a finalist over this event in Budapest. Marta Zanoni of Italy goes inside of her. Katia Delarche of France. Next up, 4:09 personal best last year. Now Bernice Clé Merle, really good athlete. She ran a national record over the mile in Monaco last season, but floundered at the national championships, didn't make the team for Budapest. Hanna Hermansson of Sweden goes next up. And then Aure Fleuret of France, Mediterranean champion from 2022. Reve Walcott-Nolan, the athlete with the fastest season's best. She ran 4:03 indoors and then came sixth at the World Indoor Championships. And then a 4:03 in Doha the other day, still hunting that Olympic qualifying mark of 4:02.5. Martina Galant of Poland is next to her. And then comes Exumawit Mbaye, a double silver medalist from the World Indoor Championships in Belgrade and back in 2014 in Sopot. Eliza Mega of Poland next up on the start line, 4:07 at Horsal the other day. This woman ran 4:05 in Horsal. Christina Sasanek-Maki and Winnie Nanyondo has got the second fastest lifetime best in the field behind Exumawit Mbaye, sub-4 performer back in 2019. 4:06 in Xiamen for Nanyondo in the last few weeks. Nanyondo is the national record holder for Uganda. Used to run 800 metres, has moved up to the 1500 metres. Nakai, her teammate, the bronze medalist from Doha, when Nanyondo finished fourth, has stayed at the 800. All the way out to that great win in Rabat the other day for Nakai. Big field here, and I'll bet that official is saying there's a lot of you here. There's 14 of you on the track. Be kind. Let's all get round in good time. So Babocha, like I said, I think she was due to be in the 800 metres on her own. I think she's here pacemaking. It'd be hard to tell with Babocha, the Romanian, so often leads. But I do think she's been set here to cover for Fisanek, the pacemaker that was due to be here. So Babocha ahead of Nanyondo. And Baye getting herself involved. Alfonso, the Portuguese athlete, really, really good, ever improving. 4:08 indoors, 4:06 outdoors last year. And Galant's got herself in good position, the Polish athlete. There'll be a lot of athletes behind her that wish they were where Martina Galant is at the moment as they come through 3 laps. Reve Walcott-Nolan used to be an 800 metre specialist. She's moved up to 1500 metres, and that got her all the way to Tokyo in the Olympic Games back in 2021. So 64 seconds through 400 metres is bang on 4-minute pace. I think that was around about a 65, and that's why we've seen Babocha just lift her pace ever so slightly. Exumawit and Baye, so experienced so many times underneath or around about 4 minutes. 4:04 in Xiamen for her as a season's best, ahead of Nanyondo's 4:06. The women going through 500 metres as the third place athlete in the women's long jump steps on the runway. Perro here, 5th round jump. I think that was close on the board. You see the officials just get a white flag. We saw that in the background. Great to have the split screen. The background of the women's 15 help us figure out that Berrio had a valid effort there. Reve Walcott-Nolan moving around the whole pack here in the women's 1500 on the left-hand side of your screen. I mentioned that Reve Walcott-Nolan started life as an 800 metre runner, and I think the speed at which you have to think tactically in the 800 prepares you very well for them being a competent 1500 metre runner, because you can think twice as fast as everyone else. 2:10 through the first 800 metres though. I think Reve Walcott-Nolan would have liked to have been twice as fast. That's away from the Olympic qualifying mark the Brit is seeking, and that's why we can see her at the front pushing on. It was 6:59 for Berrio, a new lifetime best. She stays in 3rd place, but she'd be delighted to add 4 centimetres to her lifetime best. Reve Walcott-Nolan coming up to take the kilometre here. She has lifted her pace. Ludovica Cavalli, the Italian, stalks her. She moves into 2nd place. Ludovica Cavalli has had an easier ride here, the Reve Walcott-Nolan. The Italian is poised to strike here, and a big move from Zanoni of Italy as well, trying to get herself up with Ludovica Cavalli. Reve Walcott-Nolan takes the bell around about 3 minutes. She's going to need to keep this pace on if she wants to get close to that 4:02.5. Reve Walcott-Nolan pushing from the front. The Italians are so strong this year. Gaia Sabatini has got the Olympic qualifying time. Cinta Vissa has it as well. And Ludovica Cavalli, the woman in second place at the moment. She separated herself from her teammate Zanoni. Marta Zanoni leading the rest of the pack at the moment. Azuma and Baye trying to get herself up into third place. A big move for the French woman there, Clay Merle. But Cavalli has got herself ahead of Reve Walcott-Nolan. Ludovica Cavalli had a strong front run in Madrid at the Continental at the World Indoor Tour. She struck for home there with around about 500 or 600 metres to go, surprised the field and stayed ahead of them. But at the moment, Cavalli is going to have company in the home straight. Reve Walcott-Nolan swings wide. She tries to get herself on the shoulder of Ludovica Cavalli. If they're not careful, Bernice Clay Merle is going to have some space on the inside here. It is Britain from Italy, from France in the last 30 metres. Reve Walcott-Nolan, is she going to snatch it on the outside? Ludovica Cavalli stays strong. She gets the win. 4:04.02 from Ludovica Cavalli. And she is prone on the floor. That was a brave bid from Cavalli down the back straight to get the lead into 200, to run the shortest line round that home straight. I think those few extra centimetres she would have saved on the top bend might have been the only difference between her and Reve Walcott-Nolan. They both drifted on the home straight, and I thought Berenice Clay Merle was going to snatch the win on the inside, but not quite. I think the board Cavalli has there will be the European Championship qualifying mark. Enough energy to leap into the arms of her supporters. There you go, minimum standard for Rome for the European Championships. But Ludovica Cavalli, I think, would have been disappointed with the World Indoor Championships after a great lead up into that. And she made the final in Budapest. And that's an important win for Ludovica Cavalli. And Clay Merle, good. Look where she is now, all the way at the back of the field, the French woman. And super strongly in the last 400 metres. Clay Merle nearly got gifted the win here. Cavalli by the thickness of a vest. Clay Merle going for the Adam shot across the line wasn't enough. She stayed in third place. Walcott-Nolan and Cavalli came down to the thousandths. They've both been given the same time. Great to see that all 10 competitors have got all their jumps in here. The organisers didn't cut the field on 8. So let's saw Emonin with her 6th and final jump. She's starting round 6. Unfortunately, starting with a foul, so just 6:33 for her. So next track action is 9:05 for the women's 400 metres. Apologies, I'm skipping the men's 800. That's coming up next in 5 minutes. So we'll focus on this final round of the women's long jump before that. Vanhidi Farkas of Hungary in 9th place at the moment. This is her final jump. European Under-23 champion in Tallinn back in 2021. COVID disrupted year, Tallinn stepped up to host the under-20s and the under-23s. And Hidi Farkas, good on the board there. Looking for an improvement on 6:34. $6:32, not quite. Interesting to see a verbal debrief for Banhidi Farkas and her coach there. There's still some athletes out there that do it like that instead of using the phone and everything. So, men's 800 metres prowling around. Meziane, fantastic form, 1:44.13 for third at Marrakesh the other day. The Diamond League, got Diamond League winner down there as well, Slimane Moula. Have a look at Elina Vertoro-Kottmann's last jump at the moment. Really good season last year, of course, with that bronze medal at the World Championships, but she was consistent all season. She's not found that form so far in 2024. Down in 13th at the World Indoor Championships. After a 6:71 indoors. She does finish with 6 valid efforts though, Vertoro-Kottmann, and her best was her last 6:43, apologies, 6:45. Her fifth, her sixth, 6:43. Yanis David up next. Finalist in Munich last time we had a European Championships. The European Championships in Rome just 16 days away. That will whiz round. So many big names down to compete in Rome. European athletics have been running the European Championships in the same season as the Olympics since 2016 in Amsterdam. And you've got to feel that this year the timing is absolutely perfect. Rome is 6 weeks before Paris. And so many of the big names recognising that a championship environment, the opportunity to prepare, to have a competition without pacemakers, to practice the rounds, is something that's really attractive to them as they look towards the Olympics. So there's some real big names signed up for Rome. Yanis David made the final in Munich. She'd love to make the team again for Rome, I'm sure. David get the white flag. She was miles behind the board with her 5:84 last time we saw her. That's better. Better on the board. Is it better in the pit? David, 6:46 for round 6, stays in 7th place. And that takes us to the men's 800 metres as the sun sets here in Marseille. Simon Barantini, the Italian, certainly one to watch. He didn't finish in Horsau on Saturday though. There was a big old field. I haven't seen a video. I wonder if perhaps there was some pushing or shoving. Barantini came out the wrong end of that. Isaac Nadar, the Portuguese 1500 metre specialist. Great to see him here over 800. And Elliot Giles, who used to be an 800 metre runner, back to his roots. Pair of really good Algerians though, Gouaned and Moula. There's Moula on the outside. What a win it was in the Shanghai Diamond League the other day. So Radski, the Polish athlete, will do the pacing to the side of Moula. Ordinev and Leclésio share lane 7. So Ordinev, bronze medalist at the World Indoor Championships in 2018, indoor national record holder, outdoor national record holder, 1:43 in 2018. And we go straight to Yanis Meziane of France, 1:43.94 last year, very close to 1:44 this season. Pair of Brits in this field. The first one, Guy Learmonth here in lane 5, sharing with Ryan Clark. Or are they in lane 6? It's all got a bit muddled down there. I think Elliot Giles has got his own lane behind and he's bumped Guy Learmonth up into lane 6. I thought they were meant to be sharing a lane. The Scottish athlete sharing with the Dutch Ryan Clark. Guy Learmonth 1:46 so far this season. There's Elliot Giles, good 3rd place in the Marrakesh Diamond League. He felt that he didn't run through the line. A rookie mistake from Elliot Giles, who's quite open on social media about that. So we'll expect to see Elliot Giles probably just dipped the line, whatever, today. Here's Mohamed Ali Gouaned sharing with Ludovic Lemur. Gouaned DNF'd his semi-final at the World Indoor Championships. Remember, he was pushed off the track and smashed his knee on the infield. And he actually won his first race back in a second in Choso to Tekutianu as Gouaned. As Isaac Nadar broke Rui Silva's national indoor record in the indoor season and came 4th in Glasgow at the World Indoor Championships over 1,500. The final 2 athletes, Paul Asselmini and Samuel Barantini, go in lane 1. Barantini, under 23 European champion in 2021, European Championship finalist indoors and out. I mentioned that DNF in Horsau on Saturday. Big old field, as we did on the women's side. A really competitive race on the women's, won by Charlotta Pizzo, 2:01:07. So it wasn't fast, but it was a mad sprint for the finish, as it was in that women's 1,500 metres. Cavalli underneath that European standard to take the win. Seladsky sets a pace on the outside. Slimane Moula giving chase at the moment. Meziane will hope to get into second place, I think, behind Moula. That's an athlete you want to trap. Meziane, though, protecting his position. It's a busy, busy field. They're all gliding across. Moula keeps himself out of trouble. Ordonez, great to see the Spanish athlete pushing himself up into third place. We haven't seen the best of Ordonez in the last couple of years, so for him to be running positively like this, phenomenal. He was a semi-finalist in Budapest last year. Meziane in 4th. Elliot Giles on the shoulder of Gouaned, the second of the Algerian athletes. Ryan Clark running well as the field just spreads out. 50.24, very nice through 400 metres. This is set up really well for clocking round about 1:45 or below if they can keep out of each other's way and they can keep this pace moving. Seladsky gets all the way to 500 metres. He's going to glide wide down the back straight. Slimane Moula is at the front, and there goes Meziane. He's not hanging around at all. Charlotta Pizzo took a popular French win in the women's 800 metres. Alexis Millet and Louis Gilliver lit up the track with their steeplechase Olympic qualifying marks. Meziane going for gold here in front of the French crowd. He pulls up alongside Slimane Moula. Moula looks to his side as almost to say, what is going on here? I'm a Diamond League winner, but I'm in trouble. Meziane strikes for home. He cuts off Slimane Moula, and Elliot Giles was poised. He was on the shoulder of Meziane, and I thought that was where he was going to stay, but Elliot Giles full of running down the home straight. 1:44.45 for Giles, who's remade himself into a 1,500 metre specialist, but showing that he's still got it in the 800 metres. And Meziane with that move at 100 metres to go, I thought that was the winning move, but Elliot Giles had it covered and he had something in the tank to spare. That's a big season's best for Elliot Giles. And of course, has gone 1:43 indoors, number 2 on the all-time lists indoors. Great run in Torun a couple of years ago. That 1:44.46, well under the European standard and under the Olympic standard for Elliot Giles. The Olympic standard 1:44.7. So Giles has got options when he looks towards the Olympic Championships, because the 1,500 in Great Britain is so competitive. The last 2 world champions. And Giles was beaten by his teammate George Mills in Marrakesh at the weekend. But Giles here showing what he can do in the last 50 when he's paying attention. He said that himself, and he didn't run through the line in Marrakesh. Certainly did today. That's fun. When you're further enough ahead, you can have a little bit of a look at the clock. They're all fighting each other behind, as Elliot Giles showing them a clean pair of heels. There's the confirmed result. Giles 1:44.46. Slimane Moula did manage to get himself back into second place and weave his way through the traffic. Let's hope we can see another replay of that last 100. Yannis Meziane, he was brave. He went for it. Went for the win here today. That cost him ever so slightly. 1:44.91 for third. Personal best for Isaac Nadar, the 1,500 metre specialist. That's a standard for Rome if he fancied mixing up his summer and going over the 2 laps instead of the full 1,500 in Rome. But Elliot Giles Yeah, there's a lot of competition. We look at the likes of Ben Patterson picking up a bronze for Great Britain over 800 metres, but of course Josh Kerr and Jake Whiteman winning the last two 1500 metre world titles. Giles keeping his options open as he moves towards those British trials. Linares is the winner here in Marseille. It's their final jump at the competition. The Colombian gave Catherine Abarguen's meeting record a bit of a scare. Yeah, the Colombian has held that mark since 2018 with 6:87, and Linares here with 6:81 tonight. Nearly 20 centimetres ahead of Monet Nichols. But Linares, very much the in-form woman. She jumped 6:82 to win the Iberoamerican Championships this year. She won the Pan Ams all the way at the end of last season in October. She was actually the silver medalist from the World Under-20s a couple of years ago as well. So a very young and up-and-coming athlete takes the win here in Marseille. Two events here left in Marseille, a women's 400 metres and then a men's 1500 metres. I do hope you're enjoying the coverage here on European Athletics YouTube. We're here at the Meeting International de Athlétisme de Marseille. Such a historic event, so many good results over the years, and tonight is providing even more. This is World Athletics Continental Tour Silver event. So many good meetings in France, which are organised by the French Athletics Federation, and they give tremendous opportunities to their French athletes. And they're good enough that they draw a really good calibre of international athletes, that they're home athletes that are able to compete against and really raise that level. Just have to look to that men's steeplechase for an example there, and perhaps the women's 1500 as well. So a good finish and European qualifying marks from French athletes in that race. This Meeting de Marseille is one of the best on the French circuit. We have got another couple coming up this weekend. The Meeting Stanislas in Nancy is on Saturday, and the Meeting International de Forbach is on Sunday. Both of those are being broadcast by European Athletics. The qualifying window for the European Championships in Rome closes on Sunday. There's been a flurry of competitions this week as athletes look to improve their rankings and hit those European qualifying marks. It's the second season of European Athletics, broadcasting a lot of these World Athletics Continental Tour silver and bronze level meetings. European Athletics working together with the meeting organisers to have English-speaking commentary on these events to help raise the profile. The meeting organisers work so hard, they get so many athletes around and about to their meets. And so often the fans are struggling to watch those meets. They're following along, perhaps on a results page, refreshing it furiously. European Athletics have been working with the meeting organisers to add English-speaking commentary. There is a French stream, I think, available tonight as well, so do hope you keep up with that if that's your preferred way of watching. My name is Hannah England, and I've been here this evening watching some wonderful action. If you're just joining us now for the last couple of races, where have you been? You've missed some really, really tremendous racing, particularly the men's steeplechase. Samuel de Guma taking a win in 8:12, taking Louis Gather and Alexis Millet to Olympic qualifying times behind him, the two Frenchmen. He started the programme off really quickly as well. Carl Bengstrom ran a personal best of 48.49 in the men's 400 metre hurdles. And Louise Madaval ran a 1.4 second personal best to hit the Olympic qualifying mark in the women's 400 metre hurdles. And I thought that might be the biggest personal best we'd see, but I think Alexis Millet might now hold that title. Ran about 11 seconds off his time. Skidabert did run a personal best as well, not quite that much. So there's the start list for the women's 400 metres, our penultimate race of the evening. Olympic finalist, 6th placer from Tokyo, Jodie Williams, goes in lane 3. Gabby Scott, new Ibo-American champion, goes in lane 6. Justina Święty-Ercetic is out in lane 8, the Polish women Olympic champion with the 4x4 squad with Poland, European champion back in 2018. Święty-Ercetic on the way back from disruptions in the last couple of years. She was great at the World Relays and a good split there, and then really disappointed with her performance in Poland a few days ago. But on social media, she just had no answers, didn't know why she ran so poorly. 51.54 her World Relay split though, so Święty-Ercetic is in good form. We were due to have Floria Gay in lane 7. For France, Gabby Scott of Puerto Rico goes in lane 6. 50.99 to dip under 51 seconds to win that Ibo-American Championships. Montoya goes in lane 5 for France. 56.86 in Montreal last week. Half a second personal best this year. Also does a bit of 4 hurdles, does Montoya. Pretsulikova goes in lane 4 for the Czech Republic. She ran a 50.6 split to pick up the bronze medal at the World Championships in the mixed 4x4 with her teammates in Budapest. Jodie Williams goes in lane 3. She's a sub-50 second performer on her day, 52.32 so far this season. She's been racing lots over lots of different distances. So Jodie Williams is healthy and just sharpening up into Olympic year. Marjorie Verser goes in lane 2 for France. 52.30 new lifetime best set this season. And Alice Maggione of Italy goes in lane 1. Finalist in the 4x4 with Italy in Budapest and in Eugene. I think we do have an empty lane 7, no Floria Gay of France. It was also a late withdrawal from Amandine Brossier of France. So we hope there's no issues in the French camp. So Maggione in 1, Verser in 2, Williams in 3, Petrulikova in 4, Montoya in 5, Scott in 6, an empty lane 7, and then Święty-Ercetic out on her own in lane 8. Ooh. Not often you see a false start in a women's 400. It does happen. Remember, the worst one I can remember is Christine Oharugu false starting perhaps in Moscow at the World Championships. Camera focusing on Gabby Scott, hopefully because she's one of the fastest in the fields rather than there being an issue with her reaction times. There are the reaction times. Montoya has been credited with that, something underneath 0.1. That's too fast. So Emma Montoya was a late addition to this field. She replaced Amandine Brossier. And she might just have been too quick out of her blocks. Pretsulikova getting some camera time as well. Maybe because of that leotard. It's fantastic leotard from Pretsulikova. Montoya, oh, does she know she was a bit quick? The officials over there just having a look at it. Montoya will know she's got a real opportunity here, added to this field very late. She might have been expecting to compete in one of the pre-programme events and then taking the opportunity with the exit of Amandine Brossier. And unfortunately, oh, yes, yellow card, that's what we like. Warning for Emma Montoya. We will have 7 women back in their blocks. Of course, Floria Gay not making the start line. So Alice Mangione of Italy goes in lane 1. Marjorie Vesser of France in lane 2. Jodie Williams, the Olympic finalist, in 3. Teresa Petsulikova, the relay world medalist, in lane 4. Emma Montoya with a yellow card goes in lane 5. Gabby Scott of Puerto Rico, World Championship semi-finalist from last year, goes in lane 6. And Justina Sviti-Ercetic, reigning Olympic relay champion, coming back into form, out there on her own in lane 8. Could be a lonely race for Sviti-Ercetic. She'll hope not to see any other athletes for at least the home straight. Oh, again, what's happened this time? Montoya has stayed in her block. She's done the opposite of last time. So Montoya this time. This is really problematic. So there may be an issue. Okay, maybe Montoya was having issues with there's a speaker behind the blocks, and if there was something wrong with that looks like a repeat of the reaction times we saw from the first attempt. Just the fleeting glance there. I think that's what we saw before. So Montoya perhaps didn't hear anything. Sviti-Ercetic indicating it could be getting cold down there. So green flag for everyone. Green card. It was around about 20 degrees earlier on in Marseille, but 9:10 local time. And these athletes have been out there for a long time. There's been a delay as well, so they could have been warming up for a long time. My weather app still says 18 degrees. That's just fine. Justina Sviti-Ercetic, perhaps used to warmer climates than me. So 7 women still down there, settling themselves for a 3rd time. Petsulikova, fantastic sub-51 split at the World Championships. And their teammate Lada Vondrova have been running fantastic legs for the Czech 400 squad, poised to recreate that sort of form individually. We were due to have Vit Muller in the 4 hurdles. Unfortunately, he was a DNS. So the women's 400 metres, the penultimate track action here in Marseille for the 3rd time. The women go to their blocks. And this time they are away, and all 7 athletes have managed to start. Justina Sviti-Ercetic out on her own. Gabby Scott has clawed in Sviti-Ercetic already. This is a massive first 100 metres from Gabby Scott. The Puerto Rican drives past Sviti-Ercetic. Has she judged this right? Sviti-Ercetic will try and go with Gabby Scott. Good running from Jodie Williams in lane 3 as well. She looks like she's got herself ahead of Montoya and Petsulikova. Jodie Williams moving well. Gabby Scott with a huge lead at the moment. How is this going to fare through the stagger? Has Gabby Scott got this right? It was sub 51 seconds to win the Ibero-American Championships, but she's going to have some company down the home straight here. Jodie Williams trying to muster something. Petsulikova close enough to straight. Mangione of Italy going well in lane 1. Is it the Italian in lane 1 or the Puerto Rican? Gabby Scott is going to hold on. 52.08. That was a long home straight for Scott. She looked nervous with 100 metres to go. I would love to know her 200 metre split. It was brave, it was ambitious. And she got away with it in terms of the race overall. The meeting record from Natalia Kazmarek, 51.16, survives. It was a long old hold on the start there for these women. Perhaps the long sleeves for Gabby Scott were an advantage. So no quick times in the women's 400 metres. So Jean-Paul Bredeau take a win in the men's 400 metres, the German 45.42. And Gabby Scott taking a win on the women's side, 52.07. There's a nervous look to the inside there for Gabby Scott. But she has just won the Iberoamerican Championships, and winning a championships gives you a good feeling, gives you that pride, that momentum, and Gibsy Scott maintain that here into Marseille. Jodie Williams looked good there, foot around about 350 metres, faded a little bit in the last 50, but I think that's encouraging for Jodie Williams and for Justina Sviti-Ercetic in fifth. Not stellar performances in terms of the whole career, but those two on their comeback to form, I think there is some promise there for those two athletes in fourth and fifth. Third for Teresa Petsulikova. Second for Alice Mangione from lane one. That's a great run. Gabby Scott, a win by 6/10 in the end here in the 400 metres. So one more race to go, and it's the men's 1500 metres. They should be over on the back straight, zipping up and down with their strides. And hopefully enjoying a remix of the Spice Girls. Who doesn't love that? That woman does there in the middle. She's singing along in her head, trying not to give it away. The endurance races here in Marseille this evening have been super tense and close. Charlotte Pizot of France take a win in the women's 8. Samuel Deguma of Ethiopia in the men's steeplechase, but with charge on behind. Ludovica Cavalli won on a photo finish with Reve Walcott-Nolan, both being credited with the same time. Elliot Giles, an inspired last 50 metres to take the men's 800 in an Olympic qualifying marker 1:45.4. What are we going to get out of this men's 1500 metres, the final race of the night? French bragging rights on the line over there. I mean, they're not going to get anywhere near Azzedine Habs, are they? Wonderful. 3:32.86 to win in Marrakesh. That's the European lead and the French lead. World lead 3:31. I think that might be beyond some of these men, but the likes of Flavien Sott, the youngster, has improved by 1.5 seconds, the Frenchman, in the last couple of weeks. Benoit Campignon, Arthur Gavet, Maël Goyette. These men will be desperate to get close to the European standard of 1:36. Now, they've only got Azzedine Habs underneath the Olympic standard. France have got another 12 underneath the European standard. The top 12, if you discount the top few, they've got around about 10 men separated by 2 seconds. I think every opportunity these men get to go head to head is going to be a chance to show off to the selectors. Michael Rosmus was the Olympic finalist last time round in Tokyo. The Polish athlete goes towards the outside of the field here. And Ryan Mafalele, this South African athlete, ran very well in South Africa with 3:33. Struggled in Marrakesh, though, just 11th there over the weekend. Savinsky will do the pacemaking on the outside. I thought Mike Foppen had been removed from the start list, but there he is with his trademark headband on the outside. 13:05 and the indoor season over 5,000 metres. Then he went to the World Indoors over 3,000. So Foppen, he might have done enough to get selected for the Olympics. That 13:05, just testing his speed here over 1,500. Now Shenetef, an interesting athlete for me, the Algerian, is good over 800, but he's almost choosing to have a go at 15 because it's so competitive with the likes of Dishmal Sadiati and Slimane Moula and Mohamed El Gouanid on the Algerian side. Mafalele and Rosmus already gone through our screens. Filippi of Italy through next, and Ignacio Fontes of Spain, under 23 champion a couple of years ago. Philstrom of Sweden, 1:45 indoors this year. Here begins the posing of the Frenchman, Drouin Villard. And the slowest Frenchman in this field. I think that's why he's having fun. He's getting the crowd involved. All business from the rest of them. Arthur Gavet, Benoit Campignon. And this man, Flavien Schott, is for me one to watch. I mentioned that new lifetime best. It's a 1.5 second improvement on his outdoor opener. Filip Ostrowski of Poland, the national champion last year, tucked up on the inside there. Rosales has got the fastest personal best, 3:32. Mafalele, the fastest season's best, 3:33. But perhaps looking vulnerable after 11th place finish in Marrakesh. Maël Goyette, a French athlete, tucked in the middle, was actually 4th at the World Mile Road Running Championships. That was in October. He's in a 3:36.22 so far this season. There's 4 Frenchmen here, all with a season's best in 3:36. Try and separate them. Oh, I love those elbows out from Ostrowski in lane 1. You've got to do that if you're in lane 1. Fight for your position. Ostrowski's done that super well. He's miles ahead. And now he can settle down and let the pacemaker get round him, unless he is the pacemaker. No, there comes the pacemaker. That's it. They've been asked to go 56 seconds through the first 400 metres. That would get you underneath the 3:36 European standard and start nudging towards that Olympic standard of 3:33. Sarinsky of Poland has got himself into the front, and the other Pole slotted in behind him. Ostrowski, Mafalele getting himself involved. Apologies, Ostrowski is in 3rd place, I think, so to try and separate these 2 athletes wearing the same New Balance strip. Figure out who's who. And then we have Samuel Filstrom wearing his Swedish kit. That's Ignacio Fontes of Spain moving up. Flavien Sott of France as well. So Arthur Gavet or Maël Goyette, one of the Frenchmen, up towards the front of the field. Mafalele of South Africa running well in 2nd place out of the race is here. This is nice and swift. It's really spread this field out. They've stayed out of trouble. Mike Foppen, the 5,000 metre specialist at the back, will look to pick his way through this field. Goyette of France, the leader out of the races at the moment. Mentioned he was 4th place at the World Road Running Championships, just off the podium. Sam Prakel took a bronze. He's just got the better of Goyette in the closing stages. So Goyette here to time trial 1:54.86 through 800 metres. That's really good. Slightly off what they asked for, but still very, very swift, very much in the territory of 3:35 or faster. The pacemaker just getting away at the moment. Apologies. Arthur Gavet in 1st place out of the races. It's the other athlete with a G on their chest. Arthur Gavet is the athlete leading the race at the moment. 3:35 last year, 3:36 this year, 3rd at the French Championships this year. Gavet leads the way for Mafalele from Sott. Athletes all spread out down the track. Goyette is the athlete in 4th place. Mafalele strikes for the bell. Gavet trying to hold off Mafalele. He can't do it. Gavet slips back into 3rd place. Mafalele takes the bell. It's super quick in the 2:30s, but they've got to get motoring here if they want to get a fast time. Flavien Sott of France is poised on the shoulder of Mafalele. Sott has already run a 1.5 second season personal best so far this season. Sott is running in territory he's never been in before. Mafalele looked like he was perhaps relaxing through the first 1,000 metres or so. Goyette tries to get himself ahead of Sott. He is the first Frenchman now. Maël Goyette, the 4th place finisher from the Road Running Championships, up onto the shoulder of Mafalele. And here comes the Swede, Samuel Filstrom. Filstrom has kept himself out of trouble. There could be a lot of change here on the home straight. Mafalele floundered in Marrakesh. He was 11th there after an aggressive start. He's running better here today, but not as well as this man. Maël Goyette strikes for home. The Frenchman driving hard. Filstrom still in 3rd place, but it is going to be a win for Maël Goyette. 3:34.46. That is a new lifetime best. It's a European qualifying mark. It puts Maëlle Goyette in the driving seat for the best of the rest, behind Ezzedine Habs of France with that European leader 3:32. But Goyette, what a well-judged race, kept himself out of trouble. Good positioning down the back straight from Goyette, putting himself ahead of Flavien Sott. That's where you want to be, down the back straight, putting yourself just behind the leader, poised to strike, and Goyette did just that down the home straight. Better race from Ryan Mafalele than Marrakesh. Great to see Mafalele still going for it there at the belt. Obviously not too disheartened by that 11th in Marrakesh, because he had the bravery to go for it today. But Goyette judged his effort well. He gets handed the little board. As we have a look back here. Arthur de Gavay of France wanted clean running, didn't want to be chewed up in the pack, and he went with the pacemaker and held on to that position round about to the belt. And at that point, Ryan Mafalele of South Africa took up the running. Flavien Sott of France went with Mafalele down the back straight. And around about 250 metres to go, Maëlle Goyette started making his move, taking Filstrom with him.
J'avais aucune idée du pace, de l'allure, et je voyais que j'étais bien. Je me dis, bah, elle finit fort le dernier 300 et je sais que je peux gagner les tours. Mon coach il m'apprend à finir on travaille beaucoup les 300 pour la fin de course à l'entraînement. Là j'ai battu mes records à l'entraînement sur quelques secondes pour les passer en dessous des 40 aux 300 étant facile, et là c'est ce que je répète en course et je vois que ça passe. Bah, step by step, là tu vois, 34-40, la prochaine fois on va aller chercher les mineurs, on va prendre encore des risques. Tu as mentionné aussi le ranking, c'est très important pour les Europes qui sont très tôt. Donc voilà, on va dire, je grappille des points et j'espère être de la partie à Rome avec l'équipe de France.
Dernière question avant que tu regagnes le film pour le stade. Un mot sur cette soirée de dingue qu'on a vécu, Louis de Maraval qui fait des minima, Louis Vilavert, Alex Millet. La pression, ça va bien.
Franchement, c'est incroyable. J'arrive sur le stade, je me mets dans les gradins. Première course, Louis qui claque des minima olympiques. Après, ça s'enchaîne sur le ski, tout ça. J'étais en train de m'échauffer là le long du stade. Je vois Louis Alexis qui prend les minima. Moi, j'étais comme un fou dans ma tête. Je me dis, allez, c'est mon tour maintenant. Bon, voilà, ça se conclut par les minima pour les Europes. Les minima pour les Jeux sont pas loin, mais voilà, on grappille des points, on y pense entraînement jour après jour, et voilà, ça va le faire.
Merci Maëlle.
Wonderful to hear the reflections there for Goyette. And what a way to finish the meeting de Marseille with another French win. The French Athletics Federation puts on these meetings and provides a wonderful platform for its athletes. And the French stars have really made the most of tonight. We hope you've enjoyed all the action. Highlights for me, Swedish Carl Bengström running a personal best of 48.49 in the men's hurdles. Louise Maraval with a huge personal best to win the women's 400-metre hurdles in an Olympic qualifying mark. Also had Samuel de Guma running 8.12 in the men's steeplechase. Ludovica Cavalli running 4.04 in the women's 1500 metres. Elliot Giles with an Olympic qualifying mark in 1:45 to take the men's 800 metres. And then the men's 1500 metres. Maëlle Goyette taking a win and a new personal best underneath the standard for Rome. Samuel Filstrom also hitting a European qualifying mark. Philip Ostrovsky will as well. Flavien Sott, the youngster from France, further lowers his personal best. What a way to finish the action here in Marseille. My name's Hannah England. I hope you've enjoyed the last 2.5 hours or so. Just a reminder for you, 16 days to go until the European Championships in Rome and 71 days to go until the athletics gets going at the Paris Olympic Games. I hope that you can stay for all the action on the European athletic streams over the next few days. We've got an awful lot coming up as we build up to Rome. But for now, enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.